Well, hello everyone. It's the In Case You Missed It show, our Thursday show we do at 5 p.m. Central uh, every week, or every week I can. And let me get the banner up real quick and we'll kind of jump right into it. We didn't have a Tuesday show. I've been working my tail off. And I know for some of you that's hard to believe. I really have. I had to pull over, and I'm actually in like one of these uh, Oasis things on the toll road in Maine. Got a load going down to New York, and then from New York, not the city, but upstate New York, and then I got a load going to Denver, Colorado. Now, you guys, as you well know, I love the Northeast, and so I'm always happy to come up here. Love spending time in the Northeast, delivering loads up here. I like the traffic congestion. I like the no parking. I like, just the tight turns, everything. I love the Northeast. And if you believe that, you're new to the channel, and I'd like to welcome you. And while you're here, since it's your first visit and you don't know how much I hate the Northeast, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Share this video on your social media platforms and hit that subscribe button, hit the bell and select all so that you can join me as I complain about the Northeast like most truck drivers do. Now, the argument's always been that the rates are better in the Northeast and that's why you need to come up here. I've always kind of had the counter argument of, yeah, but the tolls are higher, the fuel's higher, and so it kind of offsets the higher rates. And shoot, now the rates ain't even good up here. I mean, it's bad right now. But anyway, we'll jump into that more later, I'm sure. For now, let's say hi to everybody that's come in so far. We got Mr. Asphalt Jungle here tonight, first one here tonight. Thank you for coming in. My good friend Tim Back is here. Says he can't do anything else. He's the house. Well, he's the housewife this week, and he's got all his chores done. Let's remember this is a family channel. Let's see here. Wesley's here. Hey, Wesley, thanks for coming in. Also, my good friend John Toohey's here, who I got to see earlier this week. We stopped and had hamburgers together at a Petro, so it was good to see him again. He was heading out west, and I was coming over here to the Northeast, as we previously established, which I love it up here. Anyway, Tim says, "Hey John, how you doing? I'm still at home waiting for the title to come back." John Toohey says, "Wow, Tim, I'm doing good. 3,000-mile weeks in a row." Yeah, John started a new company. We're probably going to bring him on in a few weeks and let him talk about that company. He's a company driver there, but he's kind of killing it and doing really well. We just want to wait a little while and see if they continue to treat him good like they are. But it's always nice when somebody lands at a company and they're happy there. And I love sharing those stories as well. Kick butt, buddy. Good to hear you're doing better. Talking to John there. Good evening, Mr. Todd. Good evening, Pennywise. Thanks for being here. Thanks. It makes paying bills easier for sure. There you go. Hey, Road Scholar's here. Road Scholar is due a congratulations. He completed his lease purchase at Dart, and it's my understanding, I saw in one of his videos, if I'm not mistaken, he's currently working on getting his own authority. So congratulations to Road Scholar, and that's great, man. Happy for you. Ian MacArthur, howdy, my friend. Here in Berkeley, West Virginia, listening. Well, thanks for being here, Gary. Like I say, I'm over here in Maine. I gotta make a delivery in the morning, and then I'll be heading to Denver. I swore last time I was in Denver I wasn't going back for a while, but here I go again. I wish I could say the same. I will trade with you for sure. Yeah, Tim's had some bad luck lately. I'm starting to think my bad luck is contagious. So I don't know if any of the others of you have had bad luck as a result of me, but hopefully they come up with a vaccination so soon so that you can be vaccinated against the Todd bad luck syndrome, the trucker Todd bad luck syndrome. Said no one ever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I hate coming up here, and every time I'm up here, I swear I'm never coming up here again. And then I find myself up here again. Actually, I really wanted to run the Southeast and the Midwest, and I can't seem to get a load there that pays decently. And the owner of the company I work for has a really nice trailer that he wants to trade with me. He wants me to turn this one in. He wants to give me that trailer and, well, not give me, rent me that trailer. And although if he wants to give it to me, that's okay too. But I can't find a load to his place that's above like $1.40 a mile, $1.30 a mile. And I haven't looked like aggressively yet, but I'm about to start, upping my game a little bit and looking more aggressively to finding something over there because I know he really wants to get me moved over to that trailer. We did have a blowout this week, and he mentioned then that he's going to be returning that trailer to the place he rented it from, and he'd really like me to have this other trailer. So hopefully I can get down there and pick it up soon. But this trailer, man, if I blindfolded you and took you for a ride, you'd swear this is a brand new trailer. It pulls good, stops good. So that's what I told him the other day. I said, I'm starting to like this trailer. And he said, yeah, this trailer's got to go. I got another one for you. So that's fine. I'm looking forward to the newer trailer as well. I think this one's a 2014, and I think the other one's several model years newer. Wesley's laughing. Hey, Todd, Travis here, checking in from Topeka, Kansas. Man, that's another place. That's that middle part of the country. I'd love to catch a load to Kansas if I could find one that paid above about $1.50 a mile. Todd, are you drunk tonight? I'm high on life, man. I could. I'll be on. This week I was down a lot, and I was really discouraged. And I finally decided it doesn't do any good to worry or think about things you can't control. All you can do is your best. And so that's what I decided I'm going to do. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to swing for the fences every time I step up to the plate. And if I fail, I fail. And if I make it, then good on me. But I'm just gonna give it my best shot. And then that way, when it's all over, good or bad, I cannot have any regrets. So, yeah, I'm really pumped tonight. I had a lot of productive things happen today, a lot of good phone calls, things like that. So it has been a great day. That load going to Denver is a decent load. I mean, a little over $2 a mile, but it's a lot of miles. Fills the weekend. So that was my main goal, trying to fill the weekend with something that would be profitable. But yeah, that's what I'll say about that for now. But no, not drunk, just high on life, man. Better going in, but horrible coming out. Yeah, exactly. And that used to be, oh, this something. Now, this is 2004 for you guys saying, oh, you worked at a lot of companies. 2004, I was at Prime. And Prime used to have a saying for this right here, for what Tim's talking about. It all equals out. And I asked a dispatcher one time, I said, it all equals out, huh? I said, when does it all equal out for you? Do you ever come to work and they say, well, we're not going to pay you this week, but next week you'll get a check and it'll all equal out. Well, no, the truth is he gets paid every week. Probably depending on if he's commission or hourly, probably gets paid for every hour that he's there. But yet I clearly remember pulling a load for Prime out of Massachusetts going cross country for 50 cents a mile. Now, granted, rates were a little different back then, expenses were a little different, but I figured it out. I was losing $250 a day pulling that load. And them giving me that BS about it all equals out. Tell me how it equals out when I'm losing $250 a day working. I'd been better off, and this is where my philosophy's changed over the years. I'd have been better off sitting in the Northeast waiting for Prime to find me a better load than I would be taking a load 5 or 6 days where I'm losing well over $1,000 even pulling the load. And it wasn't a one-time deal with Prime. I did that. I pulled a load of Coca-Cola out of Florida, and I took a bath on that load too. I think it was 50 or 70 cents a mile. And back then, they had a guarantee where every 100,000 miles, if your mileage wasn't it, I think it was 89 or 90 cents back then, they would up you to that amount. Well, what they do is they would give you some good loads and get your rate way up. And then they'd give you a bunch of cheap crap and go, oh, well, it equals out. And then if you got near the guarantee again, they would give you just enough to get you above that guarantee. In other words, there was some price fixing going on. Maybe nothing illegitimate. You never really know because you don't see the rate cons when you work there. But you were going to be around that 90 cents every 100,000 miles. This is John talking to Tim. Hopefully you get going soon. Yeah, hopefully. With the low light and the dark t-shirt, looks like a head talking. Yeah. I don't know what I've got a light I can put on if it's if y'all are having trouble seeing me. It'll take a second, but we can improve this. It'll take me just a second. And we'll get some more light in here for everybody. I probably ought to show my shirt while I'm in here too. Give me just a second. We're almost there. Normally, nobody ever complains about the light. It's the less they can see me. Everybody always talks about my voice, how they like hearing my voice. All right, let's get the light on. Oops. See, now I look like a ghost. That didn't work. I put it over the camera. Now I look like a ghost. Let me show the shirt I'm wearing, though. It says Truck Smarter. That is a free app. Let me see if I can dim it a little. That might make it look better. No, not any better. That is a free app you can download if you're using a lot of broker boards and things like that. They can combine them all in one place for you. You use your login credentials, and it's kind of a fast, easy way to look for loads, things like that. I know the owner of the company. I'm friends with several people. Well, I wouldn't say friends. I'm acquaintances with several people in the company, and boy, I just don't like the way that looks. I'm going to take it down a little. Maybe I can make it better. Nah, I don't like the way that looks. I'm going to turn it off. Yeah, it's just going to be my face tonight. Sorry, folks. That light is too bright for this environment. I'm in the sleeper, and it's starting to get, sun's starting to go down here in the Northeast. Yeah, we will definitely blame Trucker Todd. Well, yep, my bad luck. It's contagious. And I was talking to the owner of the company. He had a blowout this week too. So my bad luck is extended to him too. Diesel Down, were you ever a company driver or did you go straight lease? I've been a company driver. The first 4.5 years I drove a truck, I drove for Swift as a company driver, and a couple of times through the 27 years I've been driving, I've been a company driver. I worked for a small trucking company in Lubbock for a few years delivering groceries. And so I've been a company driver. The problem is where I live, if you're a company driver, it's really hard to get home. I mean, there's a lot to it. And I just like the freedom. The problem I had, the biggest thing that drove me to leasing and eventually to buying, this is now my second truck I've bought, uh, is that I wanted to be in charge of maintenance. And I saw companies band-aiding problems and outright not fixing things, and I wanted to be the decider of that. I wanted to decide if I had recaps. I wanted to decide if I got a used tire or a new tire, or what kind of oil went in my truck, or if I used brand new parts or remanufactured parts. I wanted to make those decisions. And as a company driver, I was never going to be able to do that. Now, would I ever be a company driver again? If something catastrophic happened and I lost this truck and had to do something, I'd probably do another lease purchase or possibly go back to that company I told you about in Lubbock if I couldn't be an owner operator no more. It's not that I've got anything against company drivers or being a company driver. I just like the challenges of being an owner operator. Um, Driving a truck when you're a company driver, pretty much just have to show up and be safe and do your job. When you're an owner operator, there's a lot more planning that has to go into it. There's a lot more management that has to go into it. And so I just like the challenge. Would I ever go back to Prime? That's a good question. The short answer is not in their current format, but I've learned to never say never, and it never fails. Every time I start a live, everybody knows I'm doing one, and they still call. Let me turn on Do Not Disturb. I don't like either one of Prime's leases right now. I wouldn't lease this truck on there because it's my understanding they'd make me get super singles. They'd want to govern my truck, just a lot of things like that. And I don't feel like when you own your truck, they are to have that much control. Right now, they're poking around with inward facing cameras. And so in Prime's current format, I would probably never go there. And having said that, I know the owner of Prime. I've actually played basketball with him before. He's a great guy. Some of his middle management is kind of, but he's a good dude. And who knows? 10, 15 years from now, what I do might not do. But as they are now, no, I don't have any interest in that. Tim says, "Thanks, John. I hope so too." Hey, Ted's here, my good friend Ted. Sorry late. Hope all is well, Mr. Todd. Yes, sir. I talked to him earlier today and had to jump off the phone because I was picking up a load. We see enough of you. Turn the lights off. Yeah, it's you know, I here's the deal. So analytics tell me that about 88% of you watch me because I'm dashingly good looking. I've got six-pack abs. You like my chiseled physique. And so I know about 88% of you are here just because of the eye candy. The other 12% of you are here for my knowledge, insight, and wisdom. So I'm trying to find that perfect balance where I give you guys just enough knowledge and wisdom while still allowing you to see the eye candy that is Trucker Todd. So actually, I don't think I'm doing very well at either one, but as I said, I'm swinging for the fences every time. Tell me about WEI Transportation. Don't know anything about them. Um, tell me about them. I'm on my way to Plainfield, Indiana. I'll be delivering in the morning. Good deal, Gary. I'm delivering. Well, I'm 62 miles away from where I'm getting diesel. I think I still got a couple hundred miles to drive tonight after we finish up. But it's got like a 8 to 5 or 8 to 4 open window tomorrow. I'll make it easily. I just need to get there in the morning because I got to pick that other one up tomorrow too. Tim is laughing. He's one of the 88% that watches for my chiseled physique and dashing good looks, or at least that's why he started watching. Now he's part of that 12% that enjoys my knowledge, wisdom, and insight. I'm here because there's nothing on television. There you go. Yep. Several people, including some family members, and some of you know who, have fallen asleep watching this show. And as a creator, there's nothing better knowing that your program puts people to sleep. I just watched to see what logo you have on the hat. Oh, good deal. Tonight it's the third Thermo King hat. Thermo King in Lubbock gave me 3 hats, and this is the third one. It seems like so far everybody's saying their favorite hat was the one that had the flag on the back part of it, and so I'll wear that one in another video soon. The funny thing about the hats and how the hats came to be, when I started this channel, I thought, I needed to look like a truck driver. And normally I don't wear hats. It's about the only time you'll catch me in a hat's when I am doing a video. And a lot of people, when I'm out in public, don't recognize me unless I do have a hat on. But so I just started wearing hats to kind of look like a truck driver. And I started filming the videos in the truck to look like a truck driver. And people started noticing the hats, and the hats almost became part of the deal. Everybody wanted to see the hats, and if I didn't wear a hat, people were saying, "Why don't you have a hat on? Why don't you have a hat on?" And so I've started wearing the hats. Also, I used to have my hair. If you go back and watch the older videos, I had really long hair in some of the videos, and then I shaved my head, and it was really short, and I looked bald, and my head would shine, and people thought I was bald, and I was like, "No, I really have hair." And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So I started wearing a hat so we didn't have to have the hair debate. And now I've got a little hair up there, but people are so accustomed to the hats, so used to seeing the hats, that I wear a hat in the videos now as much as I can, unless I'm somewhere and don't have any hats with me. But I've really got too many hats on the truck. There's probably 30 hats on here, and some of them hadn't been worn in a while, so I need to kind of circulate them and wear different ones. Well, what I'd say about that, Ted, and he's referring to my 88% joke, is beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And somewhere, I've got a face for radio, and somewhere there's somebody going, "That's a dang good looking guy." Now, granted, it's probably somebody that needs an eye checkup, but somewhere somebody's thinking that. He said, "Oops, WEL." So here's the deal on WEL. For a long time, I heard a lot of good things about them, but here lately, I'm hearing a lot of bad things about them. And so I don't have any firsthand knowledge. I've never worked for WEL. I don't know anybody within the company. Everything I've heard's hearsay. What I would hope, though, because they've been having a lot of chatter lately, if you guys know anything about WEL, put it in the comments, and we'll share the information with everybody else. But I'm probably not the best resource for WEL. Here you go. WEL will put you in the poorhouse. Don't believe their lies. By the way, if you guys want to read some funny reviews and comments, get on Facebook. And I joined to their group. Get on Facebook and go to Tradition Transportation. And spend an afternoon, try to find one driver that says something nice about that company. It's pretty funny stuff. Sometimes if I need a good laugh, I'll get on there and read what people say. But it's really sad because it's been going for a while. And if I was in a leadership position at Tradition Transportation, I would be trying to make some changes to reverse the reputation that they have. And part of me thought about bringing them on the Tuesday show and interviewing them, but I don't want to. I don't want it to be a gotcha moment, and then people are afraid to come on the show because they're afraid I'm going to get them. But they do have some funny stuff on Facebook if you want to check them out. And a guy told me today, I think it was Ted that told me, on Tuesdays they have two girls in the morning that do a Facebook Live and kind of talk about Tradition Transportation, and I'll have to check that out. They were bragging about some company positions. They were bragging about some dedicated deals, and so that's something I'll have to check out. Where am I right now? That is a great question. It looks like right now I don't know what the name of this little rest area is. I'm going to try to get it for you real quick. Because you got me curious. I'm north of Portland. I am south of Gray, Maine. The color gray, Maine, just like this color. But as soon as this live ends, I'll be rolling again. The PACCAR is running great. I see what YouTubers were saying. It is, you can tell that there's a power difference between a Cummins and this, but it seems to do really well. I haven't had any problems, and so yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. And I was nervous because I heard about the first generations before 2016, but these second generation engines seem pretty good. And somebody told me the power can be turned up to 505. It's at like 455 right now, so I might consider that at some point if it doesn't affect fuel economy too much. What part of Maine are you in? I answered that. I burned all my hats. They all had Yellow Freight logos. There you go. WEL pays 70%. Yeah, but do they show you the rate cons? That's what you got to ask. Or do they just say, yeah, we're giving you 70%? If it does, I hadn't been able to find it. They said it did, but I've been all over this truck and I hadn't found a shut off switch. Typically, what I do when I go home, I take all the food out of the refrigerator and turn the refrigerator off. I put it on standby, turn off the inverter, all of that, and it'll rarely ever crank to charge the batteries. The batteries seem pretty strong in this truck, but I ain't gonna lie, I wish I had a shut off switch. I worked for WEL for 7 months. The first few months went okay. The last month I worked with them, I didn't make a dime. They would always find a way to deduct every cent. Yeah, there's some companies like that. I've heard the same thing about some of those Chicago-based companies that, like, they'll even charge you ahead for truck payments so that you don't get a check. Instead of you paying what you owe, they may charge you a truck payment and a half or two truck payments to just keep you down so you'll keep running and never go home. The deal about that, though, I always wonder when I hear that, because maybe it's true, maybe it's not. There's a lot of drivers that don't know their numbers, and shockingly, there's a lot of drivers that don't ever look at their settlements. So I always wonder when I hear stuff like that if it's true or not, especially if they say that, they're doing that kind of stuff. But this does make sense that well might be doing that. So maybe some other people will chime in on it. And we can find out for sure. Tim, I'm disappointed. You can't eat and watch the show at the same time. I get it, my mesmerizing looks. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I don't know why half my screen is. There we go. Hopefully, you guys can see. Yeah, I'm having all kinds of internet issues. I don't know if anybody can see me or not. There I am, having all kinds of internet issues. So currently I have T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T, and they were all terrible here. It's not the download speed. When you're doing these kind of videos, you need upload speed. So I connected to the public Wi-Fi, and it was working for a little bit, and now it's down. Currently, I'm back on the Verizon tablet, which is using 4G LTE, and it seems to be working. So that's a good question. How much weight have you hauled with that Packard motor? I've currently got a load that is just shy of 46,000 pounds. So I've pulled some heavy stuff, and it does okay. You're not going to win any races going up a hill, but it does the job. They won't show rate cons, and when you do the math, most of the loads pay less than $1 a mile. They also don't pay any deadhead miles. Will often deadhead you 200 to 300 miles to get loaded. Some of that right now is just the market we're in. I'm going to take this comment down so y'all can see the website. I've found my deadhead's gone up a little bit. $1 a mile, sub dollar a mile is terrible, but it's a struggle right now to find stuff in dry van. Now I know flatbed and reefer's different, but it's a struggle right now to find loads that are over a $2 a mile that are worth doing, unless you want to go 200 or 300 miles, and then you got to look at your daily revenue and if you're making enough money for it to be worth it. Now, I'm not whining and crying. I did that earlier today on the phone. I'm just stating the realities. It is going to get better. I wish I could tell you when, but but that's what I'd say about that. I'm suspicious of any company paying percentage that won't show you the rate confirmations. You should be able to go into a terminal and look at them if you think there's some monkey business going on. Yeah, hopefully it'll get better. Thank y'all for sticking around. Hey, bud, out trucking now. Good deal, man. Oh, what's better than one trucker, Todd? There was two of me. That's awesome. Yeah, it can be. Trucking's one of those things that you can love it and hate it at the same time. There's going to be things you love about it and things you hate about it. I guess that's true with any job. But yeah, um, give it a few months and see if you still like it. So I'll be honest with you. 70% is not great. It's not the worst one out there, but it's definitely not the best. I'd call it average. But what I'd tell you is don't focus so much on the percentage. Focus on the expenses, especially in a lease purchase. What are they charging you for the truck? What's the deductions? Things like that. That's where a lot of these companies get you. They say we'll give you 88%, we'll give you 90%, and then they beat you down with all these fees, or the truck is ridiculously expensive. Or they say we pay 70%, but then they nickel and dime you to death. So try to get a description of what all the fees and deductions will be, and run your numbers realistically. Run yourself at 2,000 or 2,500 miles a week. Remember that we're in a down economy right now. It's the worst I remember it in the entire time I've been driving, almost 27 years. But it's not going to be this way forever. The question is, can you hang on until it gets better? Exactly, that's their lease program. I'm trying to get caught up on the comments that my phone freezing or the laptop freezing kind of messed everything up. So what rate am I looking for per mile? Uh, as much as I can get. So what I typically do is I look and see what the average freight rate was for that lane for the last 30 days, and then I try to bid it up from there. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. I bumped a broker today about $300, but you can expect a load in the Northeast to pay the same as a load in South Texas. It's different areas are going to pay different, and that's where learning freight lanes and learning what an area should pay, should not pay, is really beneficial. What kills your credibility is when you call a broker and you're going, I want $3 a mile, and you're in an area that typically is not a $3 a mile area. If you're booking a load to San Antonio, you're probably not going to get $3 a mile. You're probably not going to get $2 a mile. And if you call wanting $3.50 a mile, and I'm talking dry van now, so flatbed drivers, reefer drivers, don't get mad at me. I'm talking about dry van. Uh, it's probably not going to happen. Also, if there's multiple stops, if it's driver work involved, you've got to calculate those fees in there too. And so, yeah, it's going to vary. I always want to be above $2 a mile. Having said that, I've pulled some for under $2 a mile. This one I mentioned earlier in the video, going to Denver, pays a little over $2 a mile. I don't consider that a great rate because I'm giving 20% of that away. But it filled my weekend from Friday to Monday. It's $3,600 worth of revenue. And so it wasn't a terrible deal, but I would like it to be better. As far as daily, I like to be in that $900 to $1,000 a day range. And, most of the time I am, sometimes I'm not. It's just a weird market we're in right now. I'm working, a company called, I think he meant I'm working for a good company called Rosedale out of Dalton, Georgia. Yeah, I remember you calling me about that company, and I appreciate you staying in touch and letting me know that it's working out well for you. If I find somebody looking for something, I may send them your way. WEL lease is overpriced. Those Peterbilts are not worth 400,000. Yeah, I think that might have been when truck prices were way up. They're starting to come down a little. Hopefully they'll get more reasonable. Swift did the same thing. They increased their balloon payments and everything's on their lease trucks when truck prices shot up, and I think now they're having to readjust those prices, or they'll be doing it soon because truck prices are starting to fall. And as more and more companies go out of business, I think they're going to fall some more. The last 3 loads that I've been pulling have been Uber freight. Some were paying $2.12 a mile, and the current Uber load I'm under now is paying $1.55. Yep, exactly. And I look on Uber's board and sometimes haul their stuff too, and I would say that that's consistent with what I've seen as well. They do have some round trip stuff. Sometimes it's decent, but most of the time you pay for it in rate. So I don't do their round trip stuff that much, but occasionally I'll pull something off their load board. Don't go to WEL. The founder retired, and his son is running it now to pad his pocket. LOL, I've never seen a $400,000 truck unless you have a 100-inch sleeper with a shower. Yeah, I was going to say, I saw some at Matt's that were probably 400,000. I'd live in them. They were freaking nice. My current load to Plainfield, Indiana is only paying $1.55, but I'm surviving. Yeah, I mentioned I did one from, I think, Montana to Pittsburgh. I think that's where I went. And it was $1.58 a mile, but it got me out of the Northwest. And I still made money on that load. But I try to target a little higher than that and see what happens. Yes, sir, I was wrong. I predicted that they'd pull through it. Somebody would buy them out, something like that. It turns out I was wrong. Nobody bailed them out. It looks like they're done from what I'm seeing. My typing froze. Sorry for sending it twice. I only got it once, but it may have come out twice on your end. So what else have y'all got tonight? Yeah, I wonder what happens now. I guess recruiters are going nuts because there's a bunch of drivers looking for jobs now. Hopefully nobody got stranded on the road. I think most of them are back every day or every other day. So I doubt there's anybody that's really stranded anywhere. But man, it's sad to see. When I'm back in Lubbock again, I'll have to pass by their terminal there and see who takes it over or what happens to all the equipment there. Hate to see anybody go under, but that's probably what needs to happen in this market for things to rebound. That's a great idea. How about revealing the company you work with? I have revealed it to a few people that were looking for jobs that I thought they'd be a good fit. I just hadn't revealed it to the public yet. And, you know, ironically, about 5 minutes before I came on air, I was actually having a discussion about when to do it, how to do it, things like that. So I know a lot of people want to know, and at some point we're going to do it. I just, you know, it's like this. It's first of all, to do what I'm doing, you got to have your own truck. So that immediately eliminates about 90% of you. Secondly, it's a super small company. So, I mean, if 20 of you call him tomorrow wanting to work there, he can hire 20 of you right now. Maybe in a few months he can. Right now he can't. So to me, it seems cruel to say, "Hey, I'm working at this great company, but you can't work here." And I want to get to a point where we can. Hey, I'd love it if I could tell you guys where I'm at, and you guys could come to work here. And there'll be a time and place for that. It's just not yet. But at least there's that. Everybody was home. And I think most of those guys knew it was coming. I think the writing was on the wall, but I really hoped somebody would buy them out or something, and they could stay around. But a lot of their customers had already left them, so there probably wasn't a lot to buy except equipment and terminals, and you'll be able to buy that at auctions on pennies on the dollar here pretty soon. Bud Light's laying off people. Yeah, they took on a marketing strategy that didn't work out too well for them. I think they'll be reluctant to do that again. But the thing about this country is people have short-term memories right now. everybody's mad at Bud Light. We'll see about maybe 6 months or a year from now. If Bud Light can hang on, people will forgive them over time. I used to drink Bud Light. I don't anymore. I drink that Michelob Ultra, that low carb beer. It's actually pretty good. I heard Schneider bought a company called M&M Transport Services. Yeah, I don't know. I figured some big company would buy them. I'm actually surprised Swift didn't buy them because Swift has expressed a lot of interest in LTL companies and the LTL business lately. I'm surprised somebody like that didn't buy them. I regret that I didn't follow that story closer. I was so sure that somebody was going to bail them out. Somehow they were going to get saved that I just didn't follow it. And in hindsight, I wish I had. Yeah, they did have a lot of debt, but I figured they'd figure out a way to offset some of that debt and somebody buy them with maybe part of their debt or something. But as soon as their customers started realizing they were having trouble, they bailed on them. And so there wasn't much left of them by the time they shut the doors. Holy cow. 1175 a week for 7 years. So you think about that for a second. Uh, you start getting near the end of your lease, probably going to have an in frame. And then you pay your truck off. You've got a truck that's probably going to have close to 1,000,000 miles on it. Then it's time to trade it in and get another one probably. So yeah, that doesn't seem like a system where you're set up to succeed for sure. Oh yeah, don't you know that's a typically, or actually it's a logistical nightmare. I mean, you know there's freight. You know there's freight dumped in warehouses. You wonder if some of the employees just took stuff home. They're like, screw it. What are they going to do? Hopefully not, though. Hopefully everybody did the honorable thing and everybody's stuff got delivered. But yeah, it kind of makes you wonder. Epic trucking fails. I've been hearing a lot about that channel lately. That there's a lot of good videos on there. I have not watched Epic Trucking Fails yet, but I've been meaning to check it out. And they have a balloon on top of that. Well, of course. Ah, Cash coming in with the news. Thank you, sir. I'm glad you're here because I have not been following it. Yellow is not done yet. They're going chapter 11. They got a new loan today. So there you go. That was the last report I heard, was that they'd kind of worked out a deal with the banks and they thought they were going to be able to hang around. And then guys came in here and said they were done. So I had heard something to that effect, but I'm glad that Cash cleared it up. They're going through a chapter 11. Sounds like it's going to be a long, drawn out deal. Akron Terminal had no freight on the trailers. They didn't pick up any free freight last week at all. There you go. I saw a video on Yellow, and they're going to lose their pensions and insurance. Yeah, that when a company goes under, that's usually the first thing that goes. That's what's weighing them down right now, is that plus you know, the leadership was taking a lot of big bonuses they probably shouldn't have been taking. There's just a lot of mismanagement and things going on. Yes, we have YouTube royalty here. Cassius King has joined us. He comes in from time to time, but I never know when he's here or when he's not here, but always glad when he is. He'll usually pop in with some nuggets of wisdom like that. Thought Swift would have bought him out. Yeah, I did too. Shark Buzz says they got a loan. Yeah, that's what Cash was saying. So good deal. But it sounds like it's confusing because I'm getting conflicting information. I guess I am going to have to look into it. And I know I've been saying that for a couple of weeks, but I'm hearing the drivers got told they're laid off, they're done, but then I'm hearing they got a loan and they're still around. So I don't know. I don't know the legalities of it. Could they release all the union drivers and then hire non-union drivers and start over again? Are you familiar with Crete? Yeah, Crete has a pretty good presence in Lubbock, and I looked at their deal. The problem with Crete, and I've never worked there. I'm going off basically hearsay. What people have told me is I've had several people tell me they micromanage you, and that would drive me nuts. And so, not saying I wouldn't never work there, but that would be my big concern is micromanagement, especially as an owner operator with my own truck. Um, so I've heard that, right when your 10-hour breaks up, they're calling you, hey, why aren't you moving yet? I've heard that, uh, if you stop at a rest area to go to the bathroom, they're asking you why you're stopped. And this may be drivers exaggerating a little, but I'm sure there's an element of truth to it too. But they've got a pretty good presence in Lubbock, so curious about if the internet goes, we'll try another service provider. So far, these service interruptions are brought to you by Verizon. We used to have a great network and now we just freaking stink. Verizon, when you want to have terrible data speeds. I can't deal with micromanagement either. And this is another pet peeve. I guess we could talk about pet peeves. I hate when somebody calls you. I used to have a guy that he would call me all the time, and he would say something basic, and he would say like, "It's raining here, Todd," and then he'd say, "You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?" Yes. If you tell me it's raining, I know what that means. Hey, Todd, I got a flat tire. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand what a flat tire is. April 15th's coming. We got to pay our taxes. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It used to irritate the heck out of me when he would call. And he's not talking to me anymore. And I don't think he's watching this live. If he is, I just really ticked him off. I know a guy from Crete. He said he's lucky to make $1 a mile. Well, is that after all expenses? Because that's not a terrible rate, especially right now. If you can take home $1 a mile. Yellow had a report card system that gave a better grade for sending a trailer out empty than if it had freight on it. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, don't it? Sorry, my APU is about to freeze me out of here. I had to turn it down a little bit. All right, I'm going to remove that comment. There's the website. Y'all go check it out. There's a lot of great information there. There's fixing to be some more stuff added to it. So you want to make sure you check that out. If you're currently running the broker boards, check out my friends at Truck Smarter. Download their app. It's free to do, and it'll save you some time while you're looking for your next load. A great bunch of people. They wanted me to go to their headquarters and hang out with them. They got one in San Francisco and one in Chicago, and I'm never in California anymore, so hadn't been able to put that together. May go by the Illinois one day. We'll see. If I do, I'll take some video and interview some people and all that. Oops, I already did that one. Crete uses OptiIdle. Those trucks crank up and rev to 1100 RPMs while you're trying to sleep. Yeah, both Dart and Swift had OptiIdle on their trucks. I like it. I know a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people say it wakes them up when they're sleeping, but I was fine with it. It didn't bother me too bad. Having said that, I I do like APUs better. I did a video comparing all the different auto management systems, and man, if you've got the $13 to $15,000, APU's the way to go. If buy what you can do. If you're wanting to save money, Cash has a good way he's doing his truck. I guess you're still doing the same way. I don't know if you're still doing the one I saw. He kind of made a homemade AC system for his truck, and he claims it works really well. I guess that's what he's still using. Don't think they have a lease program. I believe they do, but I think you have to work there for a while before you can be in it. And I know they've got one if you've already got your own truck. On their website, they've got a calculator, and you can type in how many miles you're running and all your expenses, and it'll tell you what you'd make working there. So I do think they got one, but it seems like you got to work there a few months, if I remember correctly, before they'll let you do it. It's, again, not an issue for me. I've already got a truck, and I've already got a place I'm happy working. Um, I do feel your frustration, though. Cash does the same thing as me. He doesn't talk about where he works, and it's frustrating. I'd like to know where he works, especially when he gets those good loads and when he talks about how great the office staff is. But I get why he don't want to say, and I hope you guys get why I'm reluctant to say. But eventually we'll get there. Y'all just keep hanging with me. Man, my internet just terrible. All righty, we're back again. Now we're on T-Mobile, whose motto should be, we're still not perfect, but we're better than Verizon. Hey, Robbie, thanks for being here. Good old Dart headquarters in Egan. Been there many times. Actually sat there 1 year on my birthday in December for a blizzard. And it was so cold that even running my truck, high idle, both heats on, front and back, full blast, I had ice on the floorboard of the driver's side. Super cold. Never forget it. But yeah, a lot of good times at Dart. A lot of good people at Dart. I really enjoyed my time there. Creed has lease purchase. It's a low payment, only like 1,600 a month, but there's a sizable balloon payment at the end. Well, there you go. Um, like I said, I never looked at the lease side other than uh, back when I had the Volvo. I looked at leasing it on there just because Creed has a pretty decent presence in Lubbock. But when guys started saying, "Oh, don't look at them because of micromanagement," I was like, "Yeah, that won't be a good fit." Yeah, my first phone was with Sprint too, back in, oh gosh, it had to be in the late 90s. I had one of the first flip phones, and it was a pretty good phone. I had it till just a few years ago. As a matter of fact, they seem like they built phones better back then. I'm on a backup phone now because my Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 4 is going to have to go to Samsung for warranty work. They sent me the UPS sticker, and I just got to find a UPS store sometime this weekend and mail it off. and they're going to fix it for free, but it's going to take a couple of weeks. And but phones used to you could get 2 or 3 years out of a phone. Now year and a half is about all you can seem to get out of them. And I realize that being a truck driver is severe duty. They get dropped, they get vibrated, things like that. But yeah, Swift back in those, I'm not Swift, Sprint back in those days, signal was pretty good on the interstates, on the highways, but you get 200 yards off the highway and you had nothing. I can remember being parked in truck stops next to the highway and not having signal. And then you get on the highway and your signal was fine. It's like they aimed their towers back then for just the highways and the big cities, of course. I talked to Dart. They have a terminal in Dallas. Yeah, in Lancaster, Texas. I know several people at that terminal. Not a bad place at all. It's right next to the Swift terminal there. That was actually my home terminal when I was at Dart, and or it was for a while, and then they moved me to Sellersburg when I got on the OPI board. But most of my tenure at Dart, that was my home terminal. I started with Sprint in 2005, was with them until T-Mobile took over. Yeah, I left them about the same time, and I was going to do away with T-Mobile, and I went to AT&T, and then as my needs grew, I added Verizon, and now as my needs have grown, I've added T-Mobile. And data speed-wise, T-Mobile wins most of the time now. Reliability, AT&T seems to win most of the time. And frustration factor, Verizon seems to win most of the time. So that's what I'd say about that. So I don't really have a lot to talk about tonight. Like I said, I've just been working, and I know a couple of you experienced frustration that I couldn't do a Tuesday show. And you got to remember, I'm out here driving like you are. I'm running recaps, bumping my hours just like you do. And so sometimes I'm going to have a pickup or a delivery that's going to conflict with a show. And I do the best I can to try to get stuff out. It's kind of why I haven't had any interviews lately on the Tuesday show. Is it takes some time to call people, and because before there's ever a video interview that you guys see, I got to talk to them on the phone, make sure they're not wacko, things like that. And it's just time consuming, but I really want to get back into it. The channel's taken a hit because I've been kind of asleep at the wheel with the channel, and it's not growing near as fast as it was. It's not producing near the revenue it was producing. But we've got a loyal following, so the loyal followers are still watching, but I want to get it back to its glory days, and I've got to get more content out. I know that. Hey, Ramon, I was waiting on your email about the cop car, and I never got it. If you're still wanting it, holler at me. Yeah, T-Mobile was at their peak, I think, when John Ledger was at the helm, and when John Ledger left, they just don't seem like they're improving near at the rate they were before. And so, yeah. So I would love to do a call-in show. The problem is it's almost impossible to do with StreamYard. I have to get a mixer and do a bunch of stuff. It requires a lot of equipment. And the biggest problem with it is the space it would occupy on the truck. I need to look at other streaming services and see if there's a way to do it. There was one guy that I was going to bring on and interview, and he doesn't do video. He just wanted to call in, and I was literally going to have him call one of my phones and hold my phone up to the laptop for y'all to hear him. And so there are channels that have call-in shows, and to do it, you'll notice they're normally in a studio at their house or something. They've got a mixer, sound equipment, and they can do those kind of things. And as the channel grows, we may get to where we can do that at some point. Um, I'll be the first to admit I don't know everything there is to know about technology. If you guys know somebody, or if you know how to do all those things, make all those things happen, I don't mind giving it a shot. We'd want to screen the calls so that we don't get crazies on, but yeah, I think it'd be fun to do too. We might even do a deal one night soon where I bring some of y'all on screen and let y'all talk as well. And of course, I could always remove anybody if they started acting crazy. When you put a camera on somebody, you never know how they're going to react. Some people clam up, some people become, real articulate and talk a lot, and some people become total jerks. And you just never really know till you turn the camera on them how they're going to act. Yes, exactly. Uh, Dart calls the Dallas Yard Lancaster. It technically is in Lancaster. The address of it is 2820 Daniel Dale Road, or Daniel Dale Drive. I think it's Daniel Dale Road. But yeah, I remember that terminal well. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the shop there, but I do like the people there. No, there wasn't a Tuesday show. I was working like a dog that night. I was working hard. It's in this market, to make it, you just have to work a lot harder. And people used to ask me that when I was on the OPI board at Dart. Well, what are you going to do when rates aren't this good? I said, I'm going to work harder. And so that's what I've been doing. Sometimes I do better than others. Sometimes it's a home run. Sometimes it's a foul ball. Sometimes I strike out. But I'm giving it the old college try for sure. Let's see. Am I caught up on the comments? You guys are doing good tonight. We've gone a little over an hour, keeping the comments going. If y'all got anything else you want to talk about, throw it up there and we'll try to get to it. If not, I'll hop off here and get back to driving. This weekend, I'm going to be covering a lot of ground. It's like 1,800 miles in 3 days, so 600 miles a day. I won't be hanging out at a lot of truck stops for sure. Thanks, Ramon. I appreciate it. Are you checking out, or are you staying with us? Yeah, I know several of them over there too. If you ever have any problems that you can't get resolved going through chain of command, reach out to me, and I can still do an assist. Um, I don't know everybody, but I know a lot of people from the top down. And when I call, they take my calls. And so, not bragging, nothing like that. Just saying that sometimes I can make introductions. I've got emails and phone numbers, and sometimes I can fix problems that maybe um, dispatchers or terminal managers don't want to deal with. But it's the nuclear option. I'm not going to call them because it's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night and you forgot to get an advance, or it's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night and you want to see if they got any new Peterbilts available. If you've got a really legitimate problem and you've tried your best to fix it and you can't fix it, you can reach out to me. Same goes for Swift. If you've got a really legitimate problem, you've tried to work it out, you can't, give me a call. Roadrunner, same way. I made a lot of good contacts there, and I don't mind flexing that muscle when I need to, but it needs to be for a good reason. Yeah, so you know some of the same people I do. Rich is a good guy. He's all business. The CEO is a real nice guy. No, just got home, drove 589 miles, a little bit tired. I understand, my friend. Have a good night. If you get a chance, watch the replay. But I understand. Have a great night. Thank you for coming in. I think we're going to run into that a lot tonight. Everybody is just working themselves into the ground right now. And so this may be a short one. We may all be tired tonight. I talked over where they tried to strong arm me. We're all good. Yeah, good deal. I'm glad you was able to get it resolved. Uh, Text me later and tell me all about it, or give me a call tomorrow or something. But yeah, good deal. Tell them Trucker Todd said hi next time you talk to him. By next month, going to talk to you. Almost got the money to get the truck where you got yours. Well, don't buy a truck. Buy my cop car. It's a lot more fun. Pretty much anything I got's for sale. If you guys want the Corvette, email me. We'll work something out. I can make your dreams come true right now. I need to unload some debt. So pretty much anything I got's for sale. If you got the money, we should talk. Christian's here. Good deal, man. Glad you could make it. So, we was talking a minute ago about phones not being built like they were. This is that solar powered headset. I hope you guys can hear me, that I was going to tell y'all about. It's already started breaking. Up here, the plastic's all broke. This is loose. And they're supposed to be sending me another one under warranty. It's really uncomfortable to wear it right now because it's broke. But that's why I haven't done any videos promoting it yet. I've also got another one that's a lot cheaper that's up there. Actually, it's over here. I don't want you to see it yet, but I got to start reviewing it. But it looks like a pretty good headset, and it's a lot cheaper, like around $40. So I'm hoping I can put a video out about it real soon. I didn't know Mo was still there. Wow, that's that's funny. Yeah, that if you want to do something fun, just go around to different Dart people and tell them Trucker Todd said hi, because everybody at Dart either loves me or hates me. And there's no middle ground. They don't go, he's okay. And you just never know. But depending on when they met me and what was going on at the time, they either think I'm the coolest guy in the world or the biggest jerk in the world. But yeah, I didn't know Mo was still there. I'd been told that he left. Well, thank you. I really like this headset, and I want to do a review on it, but I don't want to do a review with a broken one. And like I said, they're supposed to be sending me a replacement. I don't know if they're sending just the headband because it disassembles, or if they're sending the whole unit. But as soon as I get it, then because I left this one on the dash, because it's solar powered, and the plastic cracked. And I don't know if I just got one that had weak plastic, or if it's a design flaw. But I want to get another one and test it before I come on here and go, yeah, this is a great headset and everybody should get one. I got a 2016 Wrangler Willis Edition 2-door. Oh man, I would love to have that. I would love to have that. But I've got that lifted up Ford, and I'm going to hope I don't have to sell it. But I mean, if somebody came along with the right amount of money, I probably would, just to get rid of that debt. Yeah, Pee Wee Herman passed away. I did hear about that. A lot of people remember Paul Reubens from Pee Wee Herman, but he actually was in a lot of movies and shows. If you Google him, it's amazing how many things he was in. The last thing I remember seeing him in was he was on the blacklist for several episodes. He was the bad guy, and Raymond Reddington eventually got him, if I remember correctly. But by the way, you want to talk about a show that ended terribly? I felt like I wasted 10 years of my life watching the last episode of The Blacklist. I hated it. Pinnacle Driveway, not good. Bennett is the best so far. The one thing to remember before you start doing drive away, you will need money to start. I would say that about any driving job. You don't want to show up at orientation broke. You're going to have some expenses. And I realize life happens. Hey, if the owner of this company called me in the morning and said, Todd, we're done. Park the trailer at this place. We're parting ways. I don't like what you said on your video last night. I'd say, okay, I'd do what he said. He's been great to me, so I wouldn't burn him. Yeah, but, and I'd probably have a job within a day or two pretty quick, but I'd go to that orientation broke. And so I'd be starting the next company at a disadvantage. So it really does hurt you. It really does cost you when you change companies. And that's why when you guys call me and you're like, I hate where I'm at, I try to talk you into staying where you're at before we go somewhere else, because there is some adjustment period. When I came to this place, there was another company that was neck and neck with him, and I was trying to decide between these two companies. And what made me come here was A, it was a smaller company, and B, was that I get paid after every trip. I scan my bills as long as it's by 11 a.m. I usually get paid the next day. He says 48 hours. 9 times out of 10, it's the next day, unless it's a weekend or bank holiday or something like that. Real similar to how Dart used to pay us. Okay, the other place paid a week behind. So I'd work a week, work another week, and then get paid for that first week. So it would have been at least 2 weeks, probably 3 weeks before I've got my first check. And I was bleeding money like crazy. And so I know that's a stupid reason. Both of them were going to let me run the load board. Both of them were going to, I think 80-20 split. They were pretty identical, but getting paid after every load, being able to audit my settlements right then is a lot better than having to wait 2 or 3 weeks to audit a settlement and trying to remember what I did back then and hoping I wrote down everything. And I still write down everything, but this has turned out to be a genius move on my part, as long as I can survive the market, and it's bad everywhere right now. Yeah, it's hard to believe how old Pee Wee Herman is. Um, it's amazing what they can do with makeup and stuff, making people look younger or older. Uh, we both have the Fold 4. I've pre-ordered the Fold 5. Comes out in August. I'm going to try to be done with Samsung after this. I'm holding out for the Google Pixel 8 Pro, and it's just going to depend on finances. I'm not going to outlay any cash like that unless rates come up a little and things like that. I've got the Fold, and then I normally use a Pixel 6 Pro, and then I've got 3 backup phones in case one goes down. I can pop a SIM card in it and start using it, and that's what I'm using now. The backup phone. It's basically like a second string quarterback in football. It's a good phone, but not quite as good as my starters. No, I still have the cop car. Somebody expressed an interest in buying it, and I told them I'd sell it to them if they wanted to buy it. He was in the movie Blow. Good movie. Yeah, he was. I actually have a video out on the cop car. It's an older one, but I've actually got a video out on it. 700 bucks getting to Dallas with round trip tickets and Ubers. Went to their orientation and just saw total disorganization. Had me rethinking my career path. Yeah, they are, I don't know how to say this, and I better not talk specifically about Dart. There's a lot of trucking companies, mid-size and large, that are reshuffling things right now. Since the pandemic, they're shorthanded and things aren't going as smoothly as what they once did. I think things are starting to get better, but yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if you got there and had a little bit of chaos. Who was your orientation guy? Was it Anthony? Christian, you'd make a great executive at Yellow. Apply there. Get on LinkedIn. See if they're looking for somebody. My first car was a 1984 Crown Victoria. I got a story about that. So in Amarillo, and this would be 96, 97. No, it had to be before then. This would be 95, 96, right in there. I had I believe it was an 84 Crown Victoria that was a Randall County Sheriff's car, formerly, that we were selling at our car lot. And when I switched from selling new cars to doing buy here, pay here cars, that was my first driver. I was a floater for that car lot, and I was at a different dealership every day. And at the time, I hated that car. It had a 351 in it. Now I kind of wish I had it. Now I kind of appreciate it and think it was cool. But back then, I wanted to drive something cool. I was 20. How old was I? I was young. It's before I started truck driving, so I was started driving in '96. Man, I had to be about 20. I leased my phone. T-Mobile calls it jump on demand. Yeah, there you go. I don't like to do that because when you go to trade it in, they inspect it. You're basically leasing it and you don't own it. And if there's any scratches or blemishes, they want to charge you for them. I don't mind owning the phones and then I can sell them or keep them as backups. That's how I got all these backups out here on the road. If I drop a phone and bust it, or like that Samsung, the screen went out on it and it had a purple line across it, I just pop the SIM out, stick it in another phone, and I'm back in business. I had a 2011 Crown Vic, the last production year for the Vics, but unfortunately I totaled it. I'm wanting to replace it. Yeah, I like the ones now that are basically a Taurus. They don't call them a Taurus, but I think they're pretty neat. The Explorer one's okay too. I just think the dash looks weird on them for the police models. But I wouldn't mind having like a Taurus SHO or something. But not in this market. It's going to be a while before I have any more toys. Matter of fact, I try to sell the ones I got. Dart pays your way to orientation and paid my Uber and hotel. Did that change? Um, I don't know. Maybe somebody else can answer that. 350 that was power. You would think so, but it was really a dog. It didn't have as much power as what I expected it to have. My current one, my '07, will run circles around it. Freight is finally busting loose. 2,800 this week with Swift. Well, good deal. I'm happy to hear that. There's a lot of good people that's been struggling over there. Maybe they picked up some accounts. Used to own a 2003 Crown Vic LX. The shifter was on the floor. Ah, that's that. That's that sport model. Those are pretty cool. They also made a Mercury Marauder on that platform. Those are cool cars too. I wouldn't mind having, a Crown Vic or a Thunderbird, anything like that. They're pretty cool cars. They're not the fastest thing on the planet, but they are comfortable to drive, especially if you're a big guy like me. No, there was a few Crown Vics that they put the shifter on the floor. and they're pretty neat, but not many. Crossfire injection was a Chevrolet thing on the Z28s, and on the Corvettes for a while. I don't believe it was on the Fords, but I could be wrong about that. But I believe that Chevy coined the phrase crossfire injection. I don't think anybody else could use that phrase for a while. 72 Chevelle 400 small block, board 40 over was my first car. Oh man, I bet that was fun to drive. My very first vehicle was a 77 Ford F-150 four-wheel drive that was our farm truck. And my dad, I begged him to give me that truck. And at the time, it needed a transmission. The inside was in pretty bad shape. And reluctantly, after a lot of pressure from my mom, he finally gave it to me with the condition that he could still use it on the farm when he needed to. And I put carpet in it, I put a transmission in it, did a lot of work to it. But I never appreciated that truck until it was gone. I ended up trading it on an 88 Escort GT. And that car was a lot of fun too. But I always missed off roading and having that four-wheel drive pickup. And at some point, I tried to find that truck and buy it back. And it looks like it went to Juarez, Mexico. So no chance. Remember in the 90s, the Thunderbird that was supercharged? Yep, that's the Super Coupe. I actually sold new Fords when those came out. And it was actually, it started off as a four-cylinder, and then they had a six-cylinder. It started off with a 2.3, and them things were junk. They blew head gaskets all the time and everything else. When they put that 3.8 in it, that was a bad mamma jamma. And if you knew how to drive it, you could run with the GT Mustangs pretty easily. But now they're harder to find, especially in good condition if they hadn't been ragged out. But they was within 5 horsepower of the V8, but with those superchargers, they could beat the V8s off a takeoff, and they were usually leather seats and pretty well equipped. I wouldn't mind finding one of those if you could find it in good condition, but I bet it's hard to do. But I'm an old man now. I just give me the 4.6 V8, something to go to the grocery store in. I'd be okay with that. I think they're cool looking cars. Another cool car I had, I'll pull that off so we can see the website, had a 74 Ford Thunderbird, and it was like 3 miles long, but that was a cool car to drive. Smooth, had leather seats, was like sitting on a big couch, and I loved that car. Uh, it was the first car that I ever rebuilt a carburetor on, and I failed miserably on it, and I caught that car on fire at a grocery store, and I ended up selling that car to a wrecking yard for nothing. Also had a Ford Pinto at some point in my life. Great on fuel economy, but nobody has a big ego when they're driving a Ford Pinto. First car was a Datsun B210 hatchback, nicknamed the Green Machine. Yeah, I had a friend that had like a Honda Civic wagon, and we called it the Silver Bullet. Well, there you go. I was born in 72. First new car was a 1989 Geo Metro that was a perfect car, fuel economy, but small. Yeah, those things sold like hotcakes back in the day. That's the car, or one of the cars that they said is unsafe at any speed. They said that about that car, about the Yugo, and about the Corvair throughout car history, that those cars were unsafe at any speed. But yeah, if you just needed a little car to put around in that got decent fuel economy, they weren't bad. We got to quit talking about cars, though. Y'all going to make me want to sell cars again. And the only thing worse to do for a profession now than be a truck driver is be a car salesman. I do not need to be selling cars. Now you're talking. Wesley had an 86 Camaro. Was it the six cylinder? They actually had a four cylinder in some of those Camaros. Which engine did you have? I uh I had two 86 Z28s at that car lot. Same one where I had that cop car, and they were the Z28s with that crossfire injection. And both of them had a 5 speed, or I think one of them had a 5 speed and one of them was an automatic. It was a lot of years ago, but man, I love driving those cars. I probably should have bought one. Yeah, here's a car. This They were actually an SVO, the '84 Mustang SVO, and it had a 2.3 supercharger, same one they put in the original Thunderbird Turbo Coupe before they did the Super Coupe. And they only made them for I think 3 or 4 years, and then they quit making them. And they were they're neat looking. You can see the European influence in the headlights and stuff. They were trying to make them look more European. They had that kind of mid wing on the back hatch, and if you had that car now, it's probably worth a lot of money. Your Camaro had the V6. My son had a maroon one with a V6, and he loved that car. Matter of fact, he's trying to buy it back right now. He's in talks with the guy that's got it, trying to see if they'll sell it back to him. You could be a car salesman, sell cars, and deliver them. Uh, yeah, there you go. Remember the Gremlin? You were in that car and it blew up. Yeah, my aunt had a kind of plum colored Gremlin when I was a kid. And, that car in several surveys has been voted one of the most ugly cars ever made. But she loved that car at the time. Okay, my first truck was a 97 FLD 120 N14 10-speed 308 rear. My first truck was a Swift truck, white Freightliner, and man, I love that truck. I don't remember the year model. I started in '96, so I imagine it was a '94 or '95. Had a 10-speed Detroit, and man, I thought that truck was the cat's meow back then. I hated going slow. 57's what the trucks ran back then, but I couldn't wait to go show my family. And there's a funny story there about that too. And I probably shouldn't be telling this story. So I picked my truck up after going through training and everything, and I just threw my stuff in it. I was so excited to have my first load. Took off, went to my parents' house, and I'm like, Dad, you got to see this truck. Mom, you got to see this truck. So I take them outside. I get them in the truck. Uh, we're looking around. I'm telling Dad, there's a bunch of storage under the bed of these trucks, because I knew from being with my trainer. And so I was like, you got to see this storage. And I go to lift the bed, and instead of lifting the bed, I lift the mattress. And there's like a million Playboy magazines there. And so now my parents are thinking all these terrible things about me. And I'm like, they're not mine. They're not mine. Of course, they didn't believe me, but they really weren't mine. And they probably don't even remember that. But I was so humiliated and embarrassed that here I am showing them my truck that I'm so proud of, and they find that kind of stuff in my truck. My first truck was a '92 red Silverado extended cab Z71 with a step side. I like those trucks better than I like the new Chevys, to be honest. Who remembers the cab over? In truck driving school in Altus, Oklahoma, which it's not there no more, the first two trucks I drove was a cab over. And their logic was, if you can drive a cab over, then transitioning to a conventional will be really easy for you. So the first one was an '85 Peterbilt. It was red and white. It was a really neat truck. And they had taken out the bunk in the back and put seats back there. And so they could haul students and we could take turns driving and learn how to drive it. And they had rented an old racetrack. And we drove like the first week on the racetrack, and then after that they kind of took us on the back roads around Altus, Oklahoma, and then eventually put us on the roads. But yeah, I like the cab over. It had a spring ride. It's a little bit different ride than what you're used to now, but nowhere near the space we have nowadays in trucks. Yeah, JB Hunt used to have international cab over. Schneider did too. And Schneider's used to go really slow, and I mean like 55 miles an hour. They were about the only people we could pass when I was at Swift. JB Hunt got some cool ones right at the end before they got rid of cab overs that had a flat floor or pretty close to flat. It had like a 2 or 3 inch hump at the bottom, but you could get out and walk to the back, and it was double bunk. And I always liked those. I almost bought one when I was at Dart for $4,500. The guy said he was going to call me in a couple of months and sell it to me, and he never called me. But I was ready to buy it because, man, you go to a tight place to back in, and you can whip that thing around, get it right in there. And with it having a stand-up sleeper, they're not that bad. My good friend Robbie with a $5 super sticker. Thank you very much. It is greatly appreciated in this market and this economy. I appreciate you, my friend. We'll leave that up for a few minutes. We're still going strong. We've still got about 34, 35 people in here. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, I'll be glad to jump into it. So far, we've kind of touched on a little bit of everything. So you did about like me, Ramon. He started in an 86 Freightliner cab over. I don't know the exact. I want to say it was in the 60s, but maybe some Swift historians in here can clear that up. But I want to say back when he started, he had like dump trucks and stuff like that, and that he transitioned. But I'm a little behind on my Swift history. There was a time in my life when I knew all that stuff, and I don't remember now. I'll always be grateful to Swift. They gave me my opportunity. The first 4.5 years of my experience was with them. Having that job stability enabled me to go on to bigger and better things. Maybe not bigger, but better things, because I wasn't hopping jobs every 3 months. I did go through a period in my truck driving life where I got behind on some bills. I got desperate, went to some companies that I probably shouldn't have gone to, and so I have been to a few companies that I wish I'd have never gone to, but Swift and Dart especially, I've had fairly long tenures with them, and in the right circumstances, if I had to, I'd go there again. Yeah, they still do at some places, like in Oklahoma City. They still do some training, but I think they use some outside companies too. I actually did a video. They've got a program called Top Gun, and if you do really good in their truck driving school, you can go to this Top Gun school, and I think it shaves a week or two off of your training with a trainer. But you have to be like the best of the best to get in that, like score the highest and stuff like that. I think I agree with John. He said he thinks they started in 1966. That was the number that popped in my head. He started with like one truck or 5 trucks or something, and grew into the giant that they are today. It's my understanding he still has some affiliation with Swift, but he's just not the principal owner anymore. I know Schneider did. I remember Schneider had a skid pad, but I don't think they have it anymore. Yeah, they used to wet it down, and they'd make you slam on your brakes and see if you could steer out of a skid. Yeah, I think so too. Because I remember Oklahoma City had one. Edwardsville had one. Phoenix had one. I think Salt Lake City has one, but I know they use some outside trucking schools too. So I don't know. I'm a long way from needing training again, or I like to think I am. I still do something boneheaded every once in a while that makes me wonder, but I like to think that I know what I'm doing. One thing I do miss is the Swift terminals. Man, they're nice. There's the website again for those that hadn't got it. Also, you can look in the little blue ticker under my video and you can see a lot of information there as well as in the description of the video. Lots of stuff there. I trained in 95 is when I learned how to drive the big rig. There you go. And been making the big bucks ever since. Gary Cook was at Schneider in 95. So you drove those 55-mile-an-hour trucks, and everybody hated us because we were doing 57, y'all were doing 55, and we'd have to drag race. And we were going so slow, neither one of us could afford to let out of the throttle. And back then, I was making 20 cents a mile. That's why I laugh when guys say, well, rates hadn't, we're still getting paid the same we were 30 years ago. No, I don't think you could find a trucking company now paying company drivers 20 cents a mile. It has improved. Now, you could say, well, you adjust for cost of living and things like that, inflation. Maybe there's an argument to be made there. But I think up until recently, I was doing great. And I still do great. I just got too many dang bills. Racing Ray is here. Hey, Todd, how you doing? I'm doing good. Thank you for stopping by tonight. When I got my license, was going to Prime, and my dad buy me the FLD. Man, that's a deal right there. That's a deal. Now, if you want to take your truck to Prime, they've got your model requirements. They want you to switch out to super singles. They got all kinds of hoops you have to jump through. But that's a great idea. If any of you would like to pay off my truck, my email's there. Just email me. I'll put you in contact with the people you need to talk to pay my truck off. And it'll be greatly appreciated. Whatever happened to that truck, Ramon? Did you keep it? Did you sell it and get something else? What happened to it? Gary Cook says yes, referring to the 55-mile-an-hour trucks and the drag racing we used to do. Wow. John went to truck driving school in 1991, which is the year I graduated high school. I thought me and John was about the same age, but I guess he's a little older than me. Schneider started him at 22 cents a mile. There you go. When I left Swift 4.5 years later, I was getting 28.5 cents a mile, which back then I thought that's pretty decent money. I think those super ego drivers drive for free from everything online. Yeah, I just, I would be reluctant to do that deal. Like I say in all these videos, I'm sure there's somebody there that's making big money on some kind of dedicated account, or they live just in the right spot and they're home every weekend. But your average run-of-the-mill CDL holder working there is probably doing good the first 6 or 8 weeks and then struggling after that. In the 90s, JB Hunt was paying 11 cents a mile team driving. Yeah, isn't that insane? I remember when JB Hunt shot their pay up to 50 cents a mile for solo drivers, and everybody went to JB Hunt, and then they slowly started walking that back. It ended up in the 40s, if I remember correctly. Burlington Motor Carriers started me at 18 cents a mile. Wow, that was a long time ago. A lot of these people watching today probably don't even remember Burlington. What ended up happening to them? Did they just go out of business or did somebody buy them out? Is everyone ready for Break Check Week? Yeah, I need to do a video about that. It's coming up really soon. I don't have the dates in front of me. Maybe Gary can share the dates. Um, I'm ready for it. I'll go park somewhere. No, I can't afford to park. I'll be out here working just like y'all. I started at USA Truck in 2003. My trainer had an international. Wow, there you go. Uh, so when I started in truck driving school, the three companies I considered was USA Truck, Swift Transportation, and a flatbed company called Builders Transport. Now back then, I was in a lot better shape than I am now, and I was actually considering flatbed. And if I knew what I know now, I would have probably done flatbed if I could go back and talk to me back then. John Toohey says he's ready for Brake Check Week. Sold it and bought a 2000 FLD Classic 500 Detroit 13 speed, 292 rears. But sometimes do you miss that old truck or do you have some nostalgia about it? Yeah, if I remember correctly, the Burlington trucks weren't real fast either. They may have, Swift may have bought Burlington. If they did, it had to be after 2001 when I left. I don't remember it, but maybe they did. Okay, here we go. So, big announcement, Brake Check Week. They call it a week. It's 4 days, August 21st through the 25th. That might be a good day for me to take an extended 34 somewhere. If it's only 4 days, maybe I will. Um, I've got some doctor's appointments coming up. I think I've got a doctor's appointment September 1st, so I may be working at that time just because I'm working my way back to Lubbock for doctor's appointments. Now, what'll be my luck is August 25th when they got an hour to go. They'll pull me in. I'll get put out of service, and I'll end up missing my doctor's appointment. That's the kind of luck I've been having, but hopefully not. This truck is in really good shape right now. I don't, and by then I should have the newer trailer as well. I I feel pretty confident about going through an inspection right now. John says he doesn't know when Burlington got bought out. He was gone by then. It'll give me something to Google later. I've been lucky in my 25-year driving, used to own about 15 trucks. Wow, you have done well. My problem in trucking is I never really took it seriously. And especially when I started lease purchase, I never ran it like a business. Um, the first 4 years, I had a dedicated run for most of that time. I was home every day. Had a pretty gravy deal. So, um, yeah, I wasn't out and about. And then I did my first lease purchase. I made decent money, but I was I was out having a good time. Trucking was a lot different like back then. There was a lot of partying going on. And then in 2003, I went through my first divorce. And then I really started partying out on the road for a couple of years. And uh, so, yeah, had I taken it seriously and done more like Ramon did, there's no telling what I could have accomplished. Yeah, the cab overs with the pistol grip shifter. Yeah, that's we're aging ourselves now, John. Hey, what do you guys think about these guys that have the shifter way up in the air like this? I think it looks silly. I can't imagine it's comfortable to drive, especially when you got to shift a lot. But that seems to be the end thing right now. Who's ready for football? Hall of Fame game tonight. Game will suck, but NFL is back. Yeah, I'm ready. I got to start looking at the preseason schedule, and I'll be listening to satellite radio a lot more as I drive down the road. I love football, and it really doesn't even matter who's playing. I'm a fan of the game. Having said that, if I miss a game, I don't freak out. But if I get a chance to sit down and watch a game, I'm sure going to do it. I just stay so busy. I'm so far behind on audiobooks right now that some of them I've just had to skip and go to the next one. My last truck that I owned was 2014 94 FLD 120, 425 cat, 10 speed, 390 rear. Not making any money. Sold it. Star driving company driver. There you go. Yeah, the 390 gears, man, that's geared low with a 10 speed. You was probably what, about 65 or 70 wide open. Those cats were good motors though, and somebody said Cat is thinking about getting back into the OTR engine game again. So that'll be interesting if they decide to do that. I don't either. I don't like the long shifters that stick way up in the air. Maybe that's a young man's game. Maybe I'd like it if I was 20 years younger. Hey, is Michael? I am here. Good deal, Michael. Thanks for coming in. Glad to have you. Appreciate everybody stopping by tonight. This has been kind of what Thursday was intended to be. We just talk about whatever's on you guys' mind. Um, Originally set up, Tuesdays is supposed to be an interview show, and then we'll talk about it on Thursday nights. I haven't had time to set that stuff up, so I've just been kind of updating you guys on what I've been having going on and kind of taking your questions and things like that. But I appreciate all y'all being here tonight. Taylor Swift gave her drivers a $100,000 bonus. Yeah, I can imagine working for any of those bands would probably be a pretty cool gig. Um, Taylor Swift gets a lot of bad press, but I've heard that she does a lot of good stuff for her people. Good evening from the Davenport family. Thank you for being here, my friend. That was on the news last night. Yeah, that would be great. It's nice to shoot the breeze, Todd. I agree. It, since I left Swift, the phone calls have died down a lot. Now I still have times when the phones get busy, but nothing like they were at Swift. So I look forward to these Tuesday and Thursday shows just to kind of touch base with you guys, see what's going on, things like that. So tonight I'm just south of Gray, Maine. I'm on my way to upstate New York to make a delivery, and then I'm picking up another load tomorrow going to Denver, Colorado for Monday morning. So I'm going to be moving this weekend. If you guys are along that route anywhere, holler at me like John Toohey did. He got to see me out on the road this week, and you never know, maybe we'll cross paths somewhere. John bought me a really good hamburger that day. I was going to buy his lunch, but he bought my lunch, and it was pretty good, I got to admit. Tonight, I think it's going to be soup. It's the night before payday, so won't be eating extravagantly till tomorrow. I'm going to eat something good tomorrow. Yeah, watch for moose in Maine. Well, hopefully, I'll be out of Maine soon. I'm almost out now, I think. I don't think I have a whole lot more to go. I hate the East Coast. Yeah, I do too. I started the show kind of making fun of it, saying how much I love it up here and going, if you believe that, then you're new to the channel. And so, yeah, I made a little fun of it. Yeah, my uncle would love it if I pulled for NASCAR. Um, I think it could be fun. I think that would be a fun gig. It's if you've never been to a NASCAR race, it's extremely loud. And I know you expect it to be loud, but it's like louder than you imagine. And they rent some noise canceling headphones, and I should have bought some that day because I had a good time. But man, my head was killing me at the end of that show. Another sign that I'm getting old. Creeping up on the 2 hour mark. You guys are still doing good. We're still holding the crowd. So we'll keep going as long as y'all want to. Just keep throwing up what you want to talk about. If we go too late, though, I may cook something to eat while we're doing this. I think tonight's going to be soup. You should haul milk. They pay good. Yeah, before I came to this company, um, there's a few milk places in the Lubbock area, and I actually talked to them about leasing my Volvo on there before I went to F2F. And at the time, he was full, but they seem to hire a lot, and I don't know why they have so much turnover, but it seems like every 2 or 3 weeks they're running an ad. So there's something about it that people don't like, maybe the heavy loads, but they had loads going from the Lubbock area to East Texas and back. So you'd be home at least every other day. And so, yeah, if a scenario happened like we was talking about, if the owner called and fired me in the morning, they'd probably be one of the first people I called to see if I could haul milk around Texas. Um, but yeah, I've got some stuff like that is available to me if this ever went down. But I'm gonna keep doing this as long as I can. What do you use to pay your tolls with? Does your company provide it, or do you have to provide it? Nope, I provide it. I got the top of the line pre-pass. It has the toll transponder for all the states plus the way station thing, bypass thing, and I did that. Usually, when you work percentage, you pay all those things yourself because you're negotiating your own rates and stuff. So yeah, it's $24 a month for the scale bypass thing plus whatever your tolls are. You need a mid-roof truck. Well, the problem with mid-roof when you're I don't know why there's a problem with mid-roof when you pull a van, and that's that you catch a lot of wind drag. Also, my wife goes with me sometimes, and so it's nice to have the extra space for storage for her clothes and things like that. And I like being able to stand up. I know you can stand up in a mid-roof, and I've had a couple of mid-roofs. I had a maroon Volvo at Dart that was a mid-roof. I had a white Freightliner at Dart that was a mid-roof. And so I've had some mid-roofs, and they're okay, but I do prefer the big condo sleepers. I think NASCAR drivers get paid good money. Oh, I'm sure they do. The thing would be difficult though is doctor's appointments and stuff. When they need you, they need you. You can't like be taking time off. And same thing with doing concerts like Taylor Swift or anything like that. They want you to make a several month commitment, and that's hard to do. Milk to Florida and back, orange juice you take about 6,000 a week clean. That was 4 years ago. Yeah, things were a lot better 4 years ago than they are right now too. It's tough right now. Florida used to always be like my go-to. If I needed a big check one week, I knew I was going to take a bath coming out of Florida, but if I needed to make a big check, had a big bill coming up or something, I'd take a load to Florida, and then the next week it'd be a small check coming out of Florida. But man, even the stuff going to Florida is not great right now. And again, you're talking milk and orange juice. So you're either using a reefer or a tanker. The milk runs I was talking around Lubbock, you'd pull their tanker. Oakley out of Arkansas, most of their drivers have mid-roof trucks. That's owner. Yeah, I'm familiar with Oakley. Um, and if you're pulling a tanker, it makes sense to have a mid-roof for the wind drag. But a reefer or a dry van, that wall of the trailer really works against you for fuel economy. But I mean, a tall truck like this wouldn't work that bad against me for a tanker because the wind would go over the tanker. So the milk to Florida and orange juice back as a tanker. Well, that wouldn't be too bad then. I haven't, in all fairness, I haven't got on the load boards and looked at tanker loads, so I don't know how they're doing. It may be totally different than dry van. When I'm doing something, I tend to focus on what I'm doing, and I got to remember that a lot of people are watching me that are doing different things, and I kind of need to expand my tunnel vision a little bit and look at some of those other things so that I can report back to y'all. To haul tanker, you need a mid-roof. Um, for some of the places you go to, I guess for clearance, I've seen some. I've seen some tall trucks hauling tanker before, but maybe for orange juice and milk specifically, you need a mid-roof. But I have seen some double bunk trucks pulling tankers. Okay, we're over the 2 hour mark. What else have you guys got for me tonight? That's the one thing I hate about the Northeast is I'm probably going to have to drive all the way to where my pickup is because there's not going to be any parking up here. The rest areas will be full. The truck stops will be full. It's just I hate coming up here. Now going across to Denver, it'll probably be easy to find parking then. Never know on the weekend though, because a lot of guys go home. Yeah, I don't know why the background went black. I may can get some more light in here. Let me see what I can do to help you guys out. Oh, that do it. Just moving did it. I don't know what happened. Maybe my laptop has a light on it. Maybe that light went out. I used to put virtual backgrounds on. Let's see what one of them looks like while y'all are typing comments. I bet it's going to be terrible with the data like it is, but we'll see. Is that better or worse? Oh, that looks terrible. That looks awful. Let's get that off of there. Now I'm up against a wall. That my whole body disappeared for a second. Now I'm at the beach. Now I look like a triangle. None of these look great. If I ever get to a point where I can do videos more full time, I'll uh, I'll get a green screen and it'll look a lot better. Let's see what the blur looks like. That didn't help. That gave me a black background. I may not be able to do anything about the black background. Many of the NASCAR haulers are RVs. Yeah, they also have like those trucks that's like a mobile shop and they can put two cars in there. Put your mug shot up. Is it dark in Maine? It's starting to get dark. Sun's going down. It's been raining here. I've got the curtains open though. There's still light coming in. I'm in one of those toll oasis things, so it's well lit out here. No, my curtains are open. I used to close them, but I'll leave them open now. I don't know why it's dark in here. I might could. There's another light over here. Let's see. There we go. How's that? Got a little light in here. Y'all can see how messy my truck is. On 95 southbound, I think is exit 5 on Connecticut is a pilot. They have plenty of parking lot. Yeah, unfortunately, when I leave here, I got to go. I've got one. I had it on a minute ago and it made me look like a ghost. It's right here. See if I can get it where you can see it. And if I put it on, watch what it does to my face. See, well, it looks better now than it did earlier. I guess now that it's getting darker, looks a little better. But it kind of drowns out the background when I do that too. Let me darken it a little. That makes me look orange. That's as dim as I can get it. There you go. I've done all kinds of things. I've turned on my cell phone flashlights, but I've got that ring light. And if it was just a little dimmer, I think it'd be better. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to. There's some more equipment coming. There's a lot of upgrades I want to make. I want to do like you do and get a drone and things like that. But it's just one step at a time. If you go back and watch the very first videos and compare them to now, we've come a long way, but we still got a ways to go. I don't definitely look at these videos and think that's the finished product that I've always wanted, but I look at it and go, oh, it's better than it was, and I just try to improve a little bit each week. Next show, you should get a black light. Racing Ray says, you're looking good. Thank you. I didn't know if you're still here or not. Yeah, that's what this one is, a Walmart special. And next time I'm at Walmart, I may look for some more. It's 9 times out of 10 when I'm doing videos, I'm in a well-lit area and it's not a problem, especially when I sit the other way on the desk when I'm sitting in the passenger seat because it spins around. But just sometimes when I'm in the sleeper, it'll come across dark, and usually it's not a deal, but tonight it seems to be a deal. So hopefully we can get it better next time. Oh, me too. That's what I tell people when they're starting a YouTube channel. They're like, oh, Todd, you're so good at this and you seem so natural in front of the camera and all that. And I'm like, go back and watch my first videos. It's nobody, I'll tell you a little secret. No YouTuber or no reasonable YouTuber looks at their videos and goes, it's exactly what I want. I've got the production perfect. Everything's perfect. Everybody views it as a work in progress. Everybody's doing the best they can. And there's different constraints. Some of it's money constraints, mostly it's time constraints. A lot of people don't realize how long it takes to do a recorded video, to upload it, to edit it, even if you just do basic editing like I do. A lot of people don't realize how much time is involved in setting up these lives. And so that's what I'd say about that. But yeah, my first few are terrible. And I think you can go back and look, watch a video from each year, and you can see that I've improved over time. And if you wait a year and watch me again, you'll go, wow, that video is a lot better than the one you're doing right now. It's just nobody comes at this naturally. Getting the audio right is the hardest for me, not to mention the bloopers. Yeah, so audio, I wear these headsets, and I do it for two reasons. This is probably the last time I'm going to wear this one uh, until my new one comes in. This other one, I'll start testing it and reviewing it. I just I hadn't shot a review or an unboxing for it yet, so I don't want to start using it until I shoot an unboxing for it. And now it's dark out here, so I don't want to shoot one in the dark. But maybe this weekend, if I get a chance, I'll unbox it and use it. I carry multiple headsets on here though, so that kind of like cell phones, if one goes down, like this one broke, it's really uncomfortable to wear right now. But I'll just park it and use another one. And as far as the bloopers, they frustrate me because usually they happen when you're in about 5 or 6 minutes of a clip, and you got to go back and either cut it out or reshoot that 5 or 6 minutes. And like I said, and my wife can attest to this, the biggest problem in my life right now, well, one of the biggest problems is time. I don't have any free time. I'm always busy. I'm always doing something. And I know it's temporary. It's not going to last forever. But I do typically stay very, very busy. And some of you that have tried to call me can attest to that. But it's getting better. The calls are dropping off now that I'm not at a big mega carrier. And so now I can kind of focus when you guys call and go from there. But let's see what else we got here. I don't want to ramble any longer. When I wasn't using this headset, though, sometimes the sound was great and sometimes it wasn't. This laptop has a pretty good microphone and speakers on it. But if I don't use any headset, some people say they can hear an echo because the speakers get pretty loud. It's actually a gaming laptop. I do think we've got a clear winner, though. Verizon was hiccuping and backing up, and we've been on T-Mobile for a while now, and it seems to be holding up the best. So until I run out of hotspot data on this T-Mobile, I may be using it for these. Been to Key West, but it's been a long, long time. I wouldn't mind going again, but I'd like to go in a personal vehicle and not a truck and take a vacation. But yeah, I've been down that area before. But back on this while we're waiting for some more people to type. I was telling the owner the other day, I've only been to Maine maybe 4 or 5 times in all these years. Maine's not a place I go a lot. And south of Miami, I've probably only been south of Miami once or twice. There's just not a lot of stuff going on down there. I got that T-Mobile 5G home internet in my truck, unlimited for $50. Yeah, they make you we looked at that and they say my house isn't in the area. I think my uncle's house is, and I could put it under his address and get it. But yeah, a lot of people have suggested that. One guy even gave me the Metro by T-Mobile router, the home internet box, so I could get it. I think it's $45 a month with them. But what I've got works pretty good because there are some dead areas for T-Mobile too. So I like having all three networks so I've got signal anywhere I go. But just sometimes, especially if there's weather or something, none of them work great. They know but don't want to know. Yeah, exactly. Maine has two seasons, winter and July. Yeah, that's for sure. That was my route when I start driving 5 days a week, Miami to the Keys. Oh man, I didn't realize you lived in Florida. I should have known that. Some reason I thought you lived in Texas. What else? It's kind of slowing down now. I think we're probably going to wrap it up here pretty quick. I'm going to get back to work. I know a lot of people have done drifted off and went to sleep. Wow, you've lived in Miami for almost 35 years. Wow. I couldn't take the heat and humidity down there. Okay, folks, appreciate everybody coming in tonight. I'm going to go ahead and check out and get back to work. Thank y'all for coming in. Hopefully, I can do a video this weekend or on Monday. If not, I'll see you Tuesday night at 5 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you're subscribed so that you get a notification the next time I put one out. We'll see you. Y'all have a good one. Bye.